You guys, I fear that Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab is being dethroned as my favorite book of the year so far because I just finished reading Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, and this book took my breath away. I absolutely devoured every single page of this book. This was incredible. My new favorite book of the year so far. This is a prequel to Divine Rivals, but I don't think that you need to read Divine Rivals first to read this or vice versa. It's set about 200 years before the events of Divine Rivals, and in this book, we are following the gods, specifically the Herald of the Gods, Matilda. And we follow her all the way from childhood into adulthood as she is really growing into herself and her powers. This book gave us so much more insight into the magic system of this world and the gods and their politics and the different realms of this world. It was so fun to get to explore this world from the perspective of a god and be able to travel into the different realms that Rebecca Ross has created. This book really opened up the world of Divine Rivals and really expanded on the things that I feel like we didn't quite get enough of in that series. Like I said, we are following Matilda in this book, the Herald of the Gods. She is basically the messenger of the gods. She transports their words from one to another, and because of this, she's able to travel between all three realms. And very early on in this story, we find that she has kind of a strange connection to a boy in the mortal realm. And when the two of them finally meet in person, their stories become entangled with one another. And this was such a beautiful, sprawling love story. I wouldn't say that this was a romance, but it was definitely a love story, and a very tragic one at that. So much happens in this book. We follow Matilda and Vincent over the course of many years, and we get to see not only the intense moments of war and battles, but also tender and sweet moments between the two of them and also some of the other characters in this book. The world building in this was honestly perfect. There was so much to learn, but it never felt like a chore or an information overload. It all just flowed so naturally and easily to the point where you didn't even realize that you were actively learning. And the way that Rebecca Ross is able to do that is something that I admire about her in all of her work. The writing in this book was absolutely stunning. If you are somebody who enjoys lyrical prose and kind of flowery language like I definitely do, you will really love this. I just honestly could not get enough of this book. I could have kept going for another 500 pages, another 1,000 pages, as many pages as Rebecca Ross is willing to give us. I will read every single one. And I do have to mention that I listened to this on audio, and the audiobook narration was fantastic. So yeah, obviously this was a 5-star read for me, my new favorite book of the entire year so far. I did not think it would be possible to find a book that I loved more than Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil, but I did, and I can't believe that I did. So if you haven't read this yet, I hope that this was enough to convince you to do so. This book is everything.